How you guys doing? This is Daniel from Apex Tech Sharpening. I wanted to do a quick video on some of the different sharpening equipment I use, the overall layout of my sharpening uh, station or workshop or pseudo workshop, and some of the stone choices that I use when sharpening knives. I'll also kind of touch on, I got a message from someone that wanted to kind of see the TSPROF KO3 in a little more in depth. So I won't be sharpening on it, but just kind of showing some of the features. And I'm also going to touch on, in the future, I'm going to be doing a review on the Mad Edge system, and why it's a solid choice if you are a budget-minded consumer that wants to get into the arena with 6x1 Edge Pro form factor stones. So I'm going to start off over at my stone selection. Over here is my Chaucer stones, and you'll see that it's a combination of Gende Industry Chaucer stones and Gritomatic Chaucer stones, which are, I'm assuming, are exactly the same. Just the Chaucer stones have a stainless steel backing, or most of them do, from Gende, and the Gritomatic ones have, or the ones that you see that don't have writing on the top are the Gritomatic ones. So it's the full Naniwal Chaucer set, plus a 8,000 Snow White Naniwal stone and a 13K Sigma Power Select 2 stone, which would be this one over here. So it would be 13K, 10K, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1,000, 800, 600, and I have a couple 400s. And as you see, the ones that are untouched, I haven't used those yet. As this, the entire setup as a whole is somewhat new, or I've purchased not too long ago. Over here is the Edge Pro Diamond Matrix stones combined with a Veneve OCB 800 diamond stone. These two right here are the original formulation of Veneve diamonds, and I believe it's equivalent to a 60 and 120 grit, but I'd have to look at the backing of those to confirm that. Next are two of Dan's Arkansas whetstones, one of them being transparent, the other one surgical black. The marbled looking one is the ancient ocean jasper stone from Gabriel at Wild Whetstones. Next to that is the gray Arkansas polisher from Jonathan Coe. I believe this one is the Dota Creek, also from John Coe. These are the stones that came with the TSPROF system, combined with a couple of low grit silicon carbide stones, just for when I don't want to waste the the Chaucer water stones or the Edge Pro stones. I can just use silicon carbide to take the majority of the steel off it if I have to do reprofiling. I'd like to use the more cheaper stones for that. Over here is some stones from the Spyderco Sharp Maker, which I still use those from time to time. They work pretty good just as is. This is a 1K slash, I believe, 200 King Waterstone. I use that from time to time. That is a extra coarse DMT stone that I use for lapping, and that is a fine DMT stone that I also use for lapping. Sometimes I use them in combination. I'll start on the extra coarse and then finish on the fine for some of the higher, once you get up to 1,000 and above, I try to finish it off on the fine stone, just to get a better surface finish. But they work just amazingly. I also have just loose silicon carbide. I believe it's 60 grit, and I use that combined with my granite surface plate when I have to do reprofiling. I plan to get aluminum oxide grit, loose grit, so I believe that's what they advise to lap the TSPROF diamond matrix stones. I kind of touched on that in my last video, but yeah, I believe it goes from 250 to 4,000, and the Veneve OCB diamond stone is concentration 100 and at 800 on the FIPA scale. It's kind of cool on the lower grit TSPROF diamond stones. You can kind of see that kind of glistening of the diamonds, or its concentration of diamonds. So far I've been really happy with how all the matrix stones and Veneve OCB diamond stones perform. It feels a lot different than the original formulation, which are still great for the if I'm just trying to take a lot of steel off in the early grits. I think the new formulation, whatever binding agent they're using or binder, is more beneficial for when you start going above, I believe, probably 800 and up, so you don't leave as deep as scratches. Really looking forward to using the 8K, 10K, and 13,000 Sigma Power Select 2 stone. Heard really good things about it. Read some really good reviews on it. This is a just a affordable granite surface plate, a loop. I like to use RC car. This is like, I believe it's called Trinity bearing oil. It's real thin lubricant that can usually get in between bushings and bearings, and it works really well. A little bottle lasts a long time. That is sorry about that. The had a issue with my camera. I use a Accu remote angle gauge. This is a knife from a coworker that I'm going to be sharpening later. That's what I'm using for, also what I'm using for lapping. And as a whole, this is kind of where I have my sharpening systems laid out. I brought the mat edge over here at the same time, but you know, if I'm only using one of the systems, I'll bring the other one back, because the space isn't large enough for both of them as it currently is. This is the water trough that I use to dunk the stones in before using. Majority, if not all, of the Chaucer stones are just you only would need to put them in the water for about a minute, and they're kind of just splash and go stones. Same with the Sigma Power Select and the Nano Chaucer or Nano Snow White stone. Those are some of the lubricants I use. Most of them are really light oils, and bearing bushing oils. To go a little more in depth, this is the TSPROF KO3 with the extended lift unit added on. If anyone hasn't really seen this up close yet, I mean, I know there's a few videos online, but just in case you haven't seen it, I'll kind of try to get some close-ups and more in-depth views. Obviously, this is the rotation mechanism. I've had 5 different fixed angle sharpeners, and I have to say by far my favorite so far as far as the rotation unit is definitely the TSPROF. You can see in Wrangler Star video that they take off this back portion and it's serviceable, and you'll see kind of a somewhat complex system that they use, kind of roller bearings and whatnot, and spring steel to make the rotation nice and smooth, but also has detents, so it's repeatable. Touched on this a little bit yesterday in my last video. This is the updated bushing, bronze bushing unit for your guide rod, which I'm very happy with it so far. Obviously this rotates on a side to side, and this is what controls up and down movement or vertical movement. Obviously there's a analog angle gauge, and you can kind of, you can use it. I'm sure it's pretty accurate, but I more or less use the my digital angle finder if I'm trying to be accurate. These knobs control the unit going up and down to change the angle. This back here, you unscrew that thumb turn. This is exclusive just to the extended unit, but after you loosen that thumb screw, I believe you can go as easy as just going, yeah, there we go. You can move that up and down, and it goes pretty high up, and I believe it allows you to get up to 72 degrees inclusive angle. Yeah, that's what that does. There we go. You can see it has pretty high range. Very smooth. Tighten that back up. But yeah, that's how this unit goes back and forth. Yeah, that's kind of just an overview of my sharpening setup. If you have any questions or anything about either system, definitely let me know. The matted system I'm going to be doing a review on in an upcoming video. And just to clarify, this is the stone retention system that's on here right now is something that I personally just added on. The one that came with the system, I have somewhere laying around. I just like the using these as opposed to the one that came with it. But everything else you see is how it would arrive. And I will have to say, for the price, it's definitely a good choice if you are trying to save some money and again get into the 6x1 form factor. Yeah, it's a good choice. And last but not least, it's just a 1x30 belt sander that I use for if I'm trying to take off significant amount of steel or reprofile. I'll start over there and then end on the TSPROF. But yeah, I've had really good success with that, actually. Didn't really touch on this, but these are different selection of different strops, balsa wood and leather and kangaroo leather strops with different compounds on them. I keep a couple of the Wicked Edge compounds, and I believe a Gendy Industry one. But yeah, that's kind of an overview of everything. And I plan on making some more videos going more in depth over each individual stone choice, and get a sharpening video in. I'm still working on that Spyderco from before. I hope to finish that today so I can move on to the next knife. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments or contact me directly. I appreciate it. Thank you.